Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com. Today's customer service video question of the day again comes from Quora, and the question is, who is responsible for customer service within an organization? Okay, well, within an organization, redundant, basically a company, a business, somebody selling a thing, who's responsible for customer service. Customer service being people have questions, people have problems, people have requests. Someone needs to deal with those things. Who? Who does it? So my answer here is going to be, first of all, initially when you're starting out, and as long as you can possibly keep it this way, nobody. Nobody should be responsible for customer service because you should be avoiding most, if not all, of the problems that customer service typically deals with. Let's think of somebody starting a small business, a one-man operation, a side hustle, whatever you want to call it, selling information, selling a physical product, whatever it is, on the internet. We're not talking about lemonade stands or car washes here. Internet businesses, modern online businesses. You start out, you build your product, you get a list somehow, advertising, your own list, content marketing, whatever it is. You build a thing, you send it out, and people start buying the thing. Now, then one of two things generally happens. Nothing except profit continues to come into you. You take the money, you do what you're going to do with it, you invest it into your business, you pay off debt, you hang out with your family, whatever you want to do. That happens. Now, we're ignoring the case where the business just fails and no one's interested, because then you don't have a problem with customer service, obviously. But if you're doing things right, people buy the thing, you get money, things go smoothly. If you've made some mistakes, and people sometimes do, we all do, you're going to start getting some questions. You're going to start getting some requests. You're going to start getting some complaints. You might have people asking for their money back. You might have various other things happen. You're going to get people who have some issue with the thing that they need help with. And they'll contact you through whatever means you put up for contact for your business on your website. Generally, I like to use email, especially starting out. Later, as you're bigger, if you want to have some sort of a live chat, you can. Do not get a phone call center unless you really have a good reason to. And in this type of business, I can't think of a good reason to. But people are going to start asking you questions. People are going to start having problems. People are going to start contacting you. And if this is a one-man business, a small company, a side hustle, whatever you want to call it, the person they're going to be contacting is you. There is no other person. Some businesses, some companies like to say, oh, I'm going to go get a virtual assistant and have them do it. But that doesn't make any sense unless you do everything else right first. And then really still, I don't think the virtual assistant is the way to go there. Eventually, you may need a specialized customer service person, not a virtual assistant, but a real customer service person, but that time has not yet come. You're a small business, you're not getting too many complaints, you don't have too many customers, so what I recommend you do, what I have done, what I help clients do, is to simply begin by starting out doing customer service yourself. Now, why would you do this? What are the benefits of this? Well, number one, the obvious benefit is you see what your customers are talking to you about. You get to interact with them one-on-one. You see what they're like, what they have problems with, what they like about the service, what they don't. You fix their problems. You figure out the best way to fix these problems. And you see where everybody's having a problem. Everyone's having a complaint. Where are the issues coming up? You see these things when you're doing the customer service yourself. Now, then you have a choice after that. You've learned these things. Maybe your customer service volume continues to increase. You're getting more and more customers. You have a couple choices. You can hire someone to run customer service for you. People in the Philippines do a great job at this. Again, a real customer service person, not a virtual assistant. I wish that term would go away in this context, but it hasn't. You could do that. You could continue to run it yourself. Either way, it doesn't make sense to pay someone to do something that no one should be doing. It really doesn't make sense to do that yourself, but it especially doesn't make sense to pay someone else to do something that no one should be doing. This is the problem with conventional customer service, the root of the problem, really, where it started all these years ago, how we got to the point where we're at right now, how bad things are in customer service. It started with paying someone else to do something that you wouldn't do yourself, that no one should be doing at all. I'm not talking about, delegating a normal task that you wouldn't do yourself. That's not what I mean. What I mean is doing things in a stupid way or doing stupid things that shouldn't be done, but someone else is doing it now, so I don't care. I'll just pay them to do it and not worry about how it's done. That's a mistake. Instead, the benefit you gain from doing customer service yourself to start is from your own laziness. You're going to see I'm having 300 customers a day, hopefully not 300, but 3 or 4 customers a day asking me this same question, and I'm sending out this same email over and over again. And at first you'll write some sort of a template and you'll copy and paste that and you'll say, yeah, that's better. But then you realize that's still a pain in the ass. You still have to do things. So if you're smart, and you should be, and this is why I make these videos, this is what I'm telling you to do, you should find the root cause of that problem, of that question. Why are so many people asking the same question? Is that information not made clear somewhere? Could it be made more clear somewhere? Even if you think that it's already clear, it's not if people are asking you about it. So how could you fix that? And then you go and you fix that, and you see if the complaints, the questions, the requests for this thing drop off. If they do, you've just made things better. 80-20 principle. You do some work one time, and it prevents a huge amount of work down the line forever, as long as you continue to do things right. That's why my website is 8020service.com. That's why I chose that name. That's why I focus on this principle in my customer service work, because it is that powerful. This is just a simple example of it. There's plenty more. But initially, nobody should be directly, to answer this question more directly, no one should be solely responsible for customer service in your company when you're starting out. As you grow, you may need people, because, let's face it, no matter how well you do everything right, you prevent all these things before they happen, you make all the information clear, all of these things, you do all of it right, someone's still going to have a question. Someone's still going to have a problem. There'll always be something. And if you scale your business beyond a certain scale, and that scale can be pretty high, by the way, but if you scale beyond a certain point, you're going to have so many customers that even a tiny fraction of them asking questions every day is going to be more work than you personally want to deal with. That's when you find somebody to run it for you. That's when, if you're keeping things small, you find a good customer service person in the Philippines, you make sure you're setting things up and managing them correctly. Again, what I help businesses with, what I talk about, what my guide on the website is about. You make sure you're doing everything right. And I'll be honest with you, most people watching this video, you're probably never going to scale beyond 1 or 2 Filipinos customer service-wise. I used to run customer service for James Altucher's newsletter business. Hundreds of thousands of names on the list, tens of thousands of paying customers. I don't know exactly how many emails a day, not that many because we did everything right this way, but the entire thing was run with a couple women in the Philippines and a guy named Ron, because before I started working there, somebody insisted on setting up a call center or phone support, whatever you want to call it. There were a lot of old people as customers who like to call and complain on the phone, so we had a guy for that. If I designed the whole thing from scratch, we wouldn't have had phone at all, and I think it would have been fine that way. But point is, this is a multi-million-dollar business. I mean, 8+ figures a year, eventually sold for millions of dollars to a huge publishing company, and until the sale, of course, all of customer support was basically a couple women in the Philippines and a guy named Ron, but that's much bigger than many people's businesses are ever going to scale to, and that needed 3 people, plus myself, running it. Point is, you're not going to need that many people, especially good people, especially when you do things right and prevent these issues rather than simply sit around handling them. So that's my advice here. Who's responsible? Initially, nobody, or initially you as the person running the company. If it's a bigger company, the people running the company are responsible for not the actual task of answering customer emails or whatever you want to call it, but the prevention, the anticipation, the making things run as smoothly as possible. Ideally, you want no customer to ever have to contact customer service ever. If they do, you will eventually need someone to handle that, but before that happens, it's everyone's job to make sure that that never happens. So that's my answer to this question. I'm going to wrap this up here. As always, I've said this before, I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service question from Quora. I post the videos on Quora and on YouTube, so depending where you're watching, like, thumbs up, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. If you have a question, you can ask me on Quora. You can ask me in the comments on YouTube. I may use it in a future video. And I also write regularly on business and customer service topics, both on Quora in response to questions as a written answer as well, or also on the website, again, 8020service.com, with a daily email. Get on the list for that so you don't miss out. That's all for this video. I'll be back tomorrow with another.